Okay, good evening. I think one of you have not mute your microphone uh, because we can hear the background what you are talking, okay? So make sure, I think, Dinuka, okay? Right. So today we want to do some more past paper questions. Let me check which one we have done. Right, so programming 2022, we have done up to 14. So let's first finish that paper. Right, so we have done up to 14. So let's start with 15, okay? Right, question number 15. Let me double check whether I record the session. Yeah. Okay, can you see the screen now? Sorry for that, I think I didn't share it. Can you see it now? Yes, right, thank you. Right, so let's start with question number 15. Consider the following piece of code written in Java. Public static void main string, of course, parameter can be any name. Int x equal to do, it's a do while loop. What would be the output after execution of the program? So syntactically, it looks okay because you have to check that first because there is something called runtime error and blah, blah, blah. So therefore, it looks like syntactically no issue, right? So this semicolon is needed. This semicolon is needed, right? So let's see. So when it comes to this line, x is 2, then it comes to the do while, print out system out println x plus c equal to. So now this is a little bit tricky, okay? So what is going to happen here? So actually, I am also confused why for this kind of a situation. Is it going to give me the output or is it going to give me a? It's something like that. So if you have system out println and say x equal 5, what will happen? Is it going to print x 5 or is it going to give me error? Actually, I have never tried this. So therefore, I am also confused what is going to happen. Okay. What do you think? Maybe it may print the value of x. Okay, so that is my first guessing. Let's see whether, if so, what will happen. So then current x is x2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So then I hope might be 4 will print. 4 will be print. So then 4 is less than 3. No. So therefore it will get out of that. So therefore one possibility is 4. Other possibility is I don't think that it will be infinite loop because x is getting incremented. So therefore I don't think it is infinite loop. I don't think that it is 2 or 3. Right? So there are two possible errors. I don't think that this is runtime error also. Maybe then it is compile error. So therefore, I have better confidence about. Actually, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm just thinking logically. Right? I might wrong, but I'll go for C, which is 4 because initially I thought it might be a compile error, but luckily the compile error is not there. This is runtime error. I don't think that this is runtime error. I don't think that it is going to print infinite loop because anyway we are incrementing x. So therefore, definitely I will take those out. So there's no possibility of 2 or 3 getting print. Okay, because then of course after the execution it must print. Of course, there's a remote possibility that 2 will be print, but I don't think so. I'll go for C. Okay, it's little bit of guessing also for me. Maybe if you have done this before, of course, then you don't have to guess. You know exactly what's going. Basically, my issue is whether it's going to give me error or it is going to do this operation and print the resulting value. So I thought it is going to print the resulting value. Okay, now we can check whether that is correct or not. Okay, right. 15. Right, answer is C. Right, answer is C. So that means I guess it, but it works. Anyway, shall we run it and see? Because this kind of question can be given to you again, maybe in your exam. So let's start IntelliJ. So these are actually crazy things, but remember, examiners prefer to do crazy things and right, make your life harder, challenge you. Okay. So infinite loop means it is keep running forever, right? Okay, I will explain what is infinite loop also again. Right. For example, let's say I have test class, say test, say PSVM, say let's have a while loop in x equal 1, say while x is less than 10, say s out x. Now this is an infinite loop because always x is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So therefore, when it comes again, 1 is less than 10, again print 1, 1 is less than 10. So that is what is meant by infinite loop or never ending loop. So we have to stop it, or JVM will stop it by when it finds that this is not going to terminate it. So this is what infinite loop is. After some time, possibly it will be stopped, or maybe it will be running forever. As long as your program is running, you can see it is keep running. Okay, and so then I have to stop it. So that is what is my infinite loop. Okay, so this question is something like this. Of course, say x plus plus. So then what will happen? It will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then it will be 11. 11 is not less than 10. Therefore, it get out of the loop. So therefore, it will print 1 to 10. That is normal thing. Right? Sorry, 1 to 9. Because after 9 is print, it is 10. And then 10 is not less than 10. So therefore, it print 1 to 9. So this question is something like this. You do something like this. Say x plus plus here. So now what is going to happen? So now there's an interesting question here. What is going to happen if it is x plus plus? What is going to happen if plus plus x? Now let's see what is going to happen if plus plus x. What do you think the answer? What is the output? Because this can be your question. In your paper, they can ask this kind of a question. So remember, prefix means first you increment, right? So then I guess I'm also a little bit guessing also. A little bit of logical thinking, little bit of my experience, and of course, little bit of guessing. So that is part and parcel of our life. We have to take risks. Right. So I feel like now initial x is 1. So this will first increment x, and that value will be print. So therefore, first it will print 2. Now x is 2. Then of course it will be 3. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. Say 9 is also print. Because now after incrementing it's 9. Now 9 is print. 9 is less than 10. So then increment, that is 10. 10 will be print. Now 10 is not less than 10. So therefore, I hope my logical guess is this will print 2 to 10. 2 to 10. Okay, let's see. right? It prints 2 to 10. Okay. Now this can be another question in the exam. So what about this? Can someone tell me what is the output if this is my code now? Anyone? What is going to be the output? Is it 2 to 10 or something else? Or never ending loop or error? Now we have postfix. Now, anyone? I want you to guess at least. Smart guessing. Assume this is your past, in your exam paper, you get this question. So initial X is what? Initial X is what? My question is what is going to be the output? No one want to attempt? Okay, right. So I'm not looking at your answers. In the chat, I can see 2 of you have given me answers, but I'm not looking at it. Let me explain what I think I feel. Okay, right? Because now X is 1. And now because this is postfix, so therefore what I feel is first it will print the current value, which is 1, and then it will be incremented to 2. Then of course it comes here, 2 is less than 10, then 2 is print, then X will be 3, and so on. So then it will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So next time after 8, it comes here, it is less than 10. Now 8 is print. Sorry, 8 is print and now 9. Right. So then 9 is less than 10. Now 9 is print and now it is 10 because after print it increment. Now it is 10. 10 is not less than 10. So therefore it get out of the loop. So therefore now my output is 1 to 9. Now let's say anyone has 1 to 9. Yeah, 1 to 9. Okay. And so one of you have mentioned 2 to 9, but I feel like 1 to 9. Okay. Let's run it and see. So likewise, you have to do some experimentation. Okay. Right. It is 1 to 9 because this is postfix. First you print and then increment. Okay. It's just like when you assign. Okay. Right. So what about this then? So this is something like your question. X plus equal to. So initially X is 1. Now this will be evaluated. X is X plus 2. Now X is 3. And that 3 will be print. So therefore output will have 3. So then it goes there, 3 is less than 10. So therefore it will come. Now this is evaluated. Current X is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5. And that 5 will be print. Okay. So then again 5 is less than 10. This is evaluated. 5 is 5 plus 2, 7. And that 7 will be print. And again 7 is less than 10. So this is evaluated. 7 is 7 plus 2, 9. And 9 will be, that result will be print. 9 is less than 10. It will come back. 11 and 11 will be print. And 11 is not less than 10. Therefore, it will get out of the loop. So output is going to be 2, 5, 7, 9, 11. Okay. Sorry, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Like 3, 5, 7, 9. So likewise, so don't just look at that question. Look at other possible questions the examiner can come up with. Okay. So that is what you are supposed to do, not just doing your question. Okay. So that is what we need. Serious people, responsible people. Okay. So make into that habit. Okay. Right. 16. 16. Consider the following piece of code in Java. What would be the output of the above program? What would be the output of the above program? So this is the ternary operator. We discussed the ternary operator. It is mentioned in our note as well as UCSC note. So this is if else. If this is true, this assign this to this variable. If this is false, assign this to this variable. Simple as that. Right. So again, compile error is there. Therefore, let's first check whether there's any compile errors. Public static void main string S, okay. Double height 5.3, yes, double variable can be like this. Only float you need F. Then char variable, of course you are assigning a char, so therefore that is also fine. And system out println category, that is you are printing this. No compiler. Now let's run it, dry run. Of course, height is 5.3. Height greater than 5.3? No, 5.3 is not greater than 5.3. Therefore, it goes to this part. And this will be assigned to category. So that is B. So therefore, output will be B. Right? Answer is 16. Answer is B. Right, B. If you have anything to clarify, you can ask, because the idea is not just doing the question, understand the concepts and check whether you have understood it. Right, question 17. Which of the above statement is are true? Consider the following statement regarding the case statement in Java. Remember, case can be used with break, without break. So without break, you have the fall through behavior. Okay, right. So default case in the switch statement is optional. Yes. So if you want only, you can have the default. Okay. So default, if you have default, if none of the case is satisfied, it will go to the default. But if you don't have default, if none of the case is satisfied, of course, it will just get out of the switch. Okay. So that is okay. It is possible to have any number of case statement within a switch. I think yes. I don't think that there's a technically there's an issue. Maybe practically there can be issues, but I don't think that theoretically there's any limit. Okay. Yeah. So therefore I'll say yes. Any number of case statements. Variable X can be used as expression in a switch statement when X is defined as float. Now, remember, switch work or case work only for ordinal numbers. Ordinal means definite value with a gap. So therefore, it works for any whole numbers like byte, short, int, long, and also it works for char and boolean. And it works for string also. Right? String also, but not for anything else. Especially, just you have to remember, it doesn't work for float and double. Float and double, because float and double is represented in the computer as an approximation. So that is why they have not allowed it, because then there can be a lot of tricky bugs and so on that you can't figure it out. Because sometimes when you assign 3.9, but computer represent it as 3.89995. So then when you check whether it is 3.9, it says false. No. That is why they have not allowed float and double. Because float and double values are not 100% precisely represented. Okay. But all the other primitive types, we can represent 100% exact value. Okay. So therefore, I'll go for 1 and 2 only. 1 and 2 only. Let's double check the answer first. 70. Answer is C. So that is 1 and 2 only. Okay. Can we use for int y equal x? No, you can't use only this, right? Because your for loop has 3 parts. Right? Your for loop has 3 parts. So therefore, at least you must have two extra semicolons. Okay. For example, so you can have something like this. For, of course, you can check by yourself also this kind of a thing. Okay. Say you can have something like this, of course, int x equal 1 as long as s is less than or equal to 5, say x plus plus. Right. So then you can have something like this. So this will print what? 1 to 5. 1 to 5. Okay. Now if you want, you can do something like this. Say you don't want this. Maybe you have done it in the previous step. So then this is perfectly okay. But you have to make sure that this semicolon is there. If you don't have the semicolon, then compile error, because your for loop has need to have 3 parts. So this will give you the same output. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And also, if you want, you can take this to somewhere here. But anyway, you need this semicolon. So because you need to have 3 parts. Okay, 3 parts. Okay. So you will get the same output. So this is same as a while loop. The same as while loop. But the only thing is, now can you do this? Now you can see still no compiler. No compiler. But the only issue is now this is an infinite, not never ending loop or infinite loop, because you are not checking a condition. It's keep running forever. Okay. It will keep running forever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Blah, blah, blah forever. Okay. You can see. But no compiler. No compiler. Okay. So those are again some possible questions the examiner can ask. There's another thing if you want. Take it to the original situation. So the other thing is, if you want, you can have multiple statements here. Of course, you can have and or here. Right? Maybe you can do comma, again next plus plus. So that kind of or else you can work with 2 variables if you have, right? For example, int x equal 1, say float y equal 12.7 f, y equal, okay. So what is there with that? Int x float y. Oh, why is that? I thought this should be allowed. Okay, what about this? Two same type variables are allowed, but it looks like you can't assign more than, initialize more than one variable, even same type. Okay, yeah. Two or more variables of same types is allowed here, but it looks like it doesn't allow more than one data type in the declaration. But you can have any number of variables of same. And here also you can do something like x is greater than or equal 1, 5, and y is greater than 2, and likewise. Okay. And here you can have multiple. First, after it comes to the for loop, if this condition is true, first it will do this, then it will do this. Okay, then it will do this. So these kind of questions can be there in the exam. Okay, so what is the output? What is the output? Okay. Right. Can someone tell me what is the output for this one? Right. As long as s is less than 10, do this. So what you are supposed to do, right? You need a semicolon here, right? I think you can declare different type of variable also. Let's say float y equal 12.f5f. No, right? No. 2 different type of variables are not supported. But definitely same type, y equal 12 and so on. Right. So anyway, my question is, now what is the output? Say x plus equal 2. Now can someone tell me if this is executed, what is the output? I'll give you 1 minute, because this can be this kind of questions they can ask. Anyone? But don't code this and run it. Of course, in the exams you can't do that. Use your imagination, logical thinking, bit of smartness. Maybe your answer is wrong, but you must attempt it. You must take challenges. Anyone? What is going to be the output? Remember, you must go to the programming paper to get A plus. Computer system to get A plus. Information system to get at least A or A plus. Maths paper, definitely, of course, you don't get A plus for math subject. They just say pass or fail. And remember, pass mark is 50. So you must go for maths subject to pass it. You must go for free and open source software paper to get A plus. You must, okay? But I will go there to get at least a B because I am very weak in free and open source software subject because that is not my friend. එයා මට අල්ලන සබ්ජෙක්ට් එකක් නෙමෙයි. ඒකන් තමයි යන්නේ B එකක්වත් ගන්න කියලා හිතාගෙන B එකක් බැලුවා C+ එකක්වත් ගන්න. හැබැයි ඕගොල්ලන්ට එහෙම බෑනේ. ඕගොල්ලෝ මම නෙමෙයිනේ. ඕගොල්ලෝ මට වඩා ඊළඟ ජෙනරේෂන් එකේ කට්ටියනේ. ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ තාම young නේ. ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ මතකේ හොඳයිනේ මට වඩා. මගේ මතකේ නම් දැන් ටික ටික සවුත් වෙනවා. හැබැයි මගේ process එක නම් මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන මැරෙනකම් මේ වගේම තියෙයි කියලා. හරි. මැරෙන්න ලඟ වෙනකම්ම හරි. I don't care at which age I die, but I don't want to lose my processor. මොකද එතකොට අර මනුස්සකම ගිහින් නිකන් නේද බල්ලේ පූසෙක් ඉතුරු වෙනවා. බල්ලේ පූසෙක් වගේ මැරෙනවා කැමති නැහැ. මතකේ නම් මට එච්චර අත්‍යවශ්‍ය දෙයක් නෙවෙයි. සාමාන්‍ය දේවල් ටික මතකේ තියෙනවා ඇති. Right. What is the answer? So this is my answer. X is 1. Okay. So 1 is less than 10, correct. So therefore now, first it comes here, then it comes here. Okay. So then it comes inside. So then it prints 10. Now it comes here. X is incremented by 1, it is 2. Then X is X plus 2. So therefore 2 plus 2 is 4. Now check the condition. 4 is less than 10. Yes, it will go there. It will print, sorry, this print 1. Okay. And now it prints. Now initially X is 1, 1 is less than 10, therefore it print 1. And now it goes there. Now it is, sorry, I made a mistake. Let me explain it again. Now X is 1. Now it goes there. Is 1 less than 10 years? It will come here. So therefore it will print 1. Now it has to go there. X is incremented. Now it has to do this one. X is X plus 2. That is 2 plus 2 is 4. Now it has to check the condition. Yes, 4 is less than 10. It will come here and print it. Now again it has to go there. First it will be incremented by 1. Then it will be incremented by 2. 7. Now it will check the condition. 7 is less than 10. Yes, so therefore it will come and print 7. Now it has to go again here. First it is incremented by 1. Then it is incremented by 2. Then it will come and check whether is X less than 10. No, X is not less than 10. 10 is not less than 10. So therefore it will get out of the loop. So therefore output will be 147. Anyone got the output as 147? මගේ උත්තරයක් කවුරු ඉන්නවද? So one answer says 14710. No. Yes, one answer is two answers says 14710. One answer says 147. I will also go for 147. Because when it is 10, 10 is not less than 10, so therefore it will not get into the loop. Rather, it will get out of the loop. Okay, so my answer is 147. Then Melo එකක් දෙයක් ඔලුවට එන්නත් ඇයි ඉතින් තාම වැඩේ අවුල්ලා තාම ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑමින් මීටර් රේට වැදිලා නැහැ. ඒකට කල්පනා කරනවා ඇයි මට ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑමින් මීටර් රේට් නැද්ද මගේ ලොජිකල් තින්කින් වල අවුලක්ද? මගේ ඇටිටියුඩ් ප්‍රශ්නයක්ද? මට මේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑමින් සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක ඉච්චර දිරවන්නේ නැද්ද? හරි. ඒක ඔයා හොයන්න ඕන. හරි ඒක හොයන්න ඕන. ඊට පස්සේ හොයනවා එහෙනම් මම දක්ෂ මොනවටද? හරි. මම උන්ගේ තුන් වලටද? මේ දවස්වල නම් කැරට් වගා කරන්න හොඳ පුළුවන්ද මට? මේවත් බලන්න. Right. So let's move on. Right. So this one we find the question answer, right? Default case switch statement is optional. Yes. It is possible to have a number of case statement within a switch. Yes. A variable X can be used as expression in switch statement. No. Right. So we took it the answer as 1 and 2 only. C, 17C. Okay. So we got 17. Right. 18. What is the output of the following Java program? It's a two-dimensional array. Okay, two-dimensional array. So this is my array. 0th row, first row, second row. This is 0th column, first column. This is 1, 2. This is 3, 4. And this is 5, 6. So it prints, this is my int array. It prints 1, 1. 1, 1. 1, 1 is 4, as simple as that. Right. Answer is D. D. Okay. 19. Which of the following is are not a program design methodology? So method that we use in program designing or designing software. Right? Test driven. Test driven is, I don't think that it's a program design in tech. It's a software development. Basically, we have software development approach called agile development. Agile development, in the agile development software process, we use test-driven programming. Test-driven means we first write the test case, then you do the development. Of course, initially test case is failed because we have not implemented the software yet. But when we implement that particular functionality, after sometimes your test cases are getting passed. Initially, all your test cases are failing, but gradually, when your functionalities are properly implemented, your test cases are now getting passed one by one. So that is called test-driven programming. But I don't think that it is a program design technique. I will not take it. Of course, we can do procedure-driven, object-oriented, right? Data-driven programming. So I think these are okay. These are not very standard words anyway. This can be debatable answer. But in your UCSC note, I think this is specifically mentioned. Right? Procedure-driven, event-driven, data-driven. Right? I can't remember time-driven. Definitely, this is in your UCSC note. That is why I asked you to refer to the UCSC notes. Okay, sometimes your UCSC note has for some topics about 150 slides. What to do? Right, read it. Right, I'll go for B, D, and E. Let's double check the answer. Right. Examiner has taken only A and D. Sorry, A and C. Oh, so that is what they ask is not. ඔන්න ඔක තමයි ඊළඟට වෙන හුටපටය. අහලා තියෙන්නේ මොකද්ද? not ඒවා අහලා තියෙන්නේ. not ඒවා අහලා නම් හරිනේ. A and C. හරි. ඕක නම් කරගන්න එපා. හරි ටොක් එකක් යන්න හරි විභාගෙට යන්න. දැන් ඕක මට හැමදාම වෙනවා සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. දැන් වට වෙන හැමදාම මම පේපර් එකක් ඔයගොල්ලොත් එක්ක ඩිස්කස් කරද්දි මෙහෙම එකක් වෙනව නේද? මම නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් අද ලියා ගන්නවා කොලේක not ඒවා හරියට බලපිය කියලා. හරි. ඕක පුළුවන් නම් ඔයා බුදිය ගන්න තැන දැම්ම අලවල තියාගන්න. ඒතකොට එක්සෑම් එක දවසේ තුදේ නැගිට ගමන් පේනවා not ඒවා බලපිය. ඕනනම් ඒක ඒ කොල කෑල්ල ගලවලා මේ වාගේ not ඒවා බලපිය කියලා නේද? මොකක් හරි කමන්නේ හරි. කළා වාගේ ID එකේ හරි කොහේ හරි අලෝගෙන යන්න. එතකොට ID එක ගන්නවනේ. ඇඩ්මිෂන් චෙක් කරන්න දෙද්දි. එතකොට ආයි පේනවා not ඒවා ටික නාන්න නැතුව බලපිය. එතකොට මතක් වෙනවා. නැත්තම් ඔක ඔය වෙලාවට ආයි අමතක වෙනවා. මම දන්නේ මට නම් අමතක වෙනවා. එහෙම හරි කළා මේක මතක් කරගන්න. විභාගයට වාඩි වෙනකොට අනිවාර්යෙන් මතක තියාගන්න ඕන බෝල් කරපුවා බලන්න, අහන්න not the true ඒවද false ඒවද කියලා බලන්න. අනිවාර්යෙන්ම instruction කියවන්න හැම paper එකකින් paper එකට, because sometimes they will say only one answer is correct, sometimes they will say multiple answers are correct. Okay, මම එක්සෑම් එක දවසේ උදේටත් ඕනනම් ওই ටික දාන්න ඔක්කොම WhatsApp group වලට. හරි. ඒකත් උදේ පාන්දර WhatsApp group එකත් බලලා යන්න. මම ওই ටික දාන්නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් paper එකකින් paper එකට කරන්න ඕනේ ඒ ටික. මොකද අන්තිමට subject එකක් දාන්න ඔක්කොමත් දාන්නවා careless විදියට marks ගිහිල්ලා. හරි දැන් දැක්කනේ මම උත්තර ටික හරියට හරි නමුත් මම ගැහුවේ අනිත් එකට. මොකද මේ note එක concentrate කරේ නැහැ. Right. Following are some of the basic steps you have to follow in development of computer program. Right. Developing computer programs. Test the algorithm for correctness. Yes, right. So we have to test whether our logic or our design, our solution is correct. Before implementing, we can check certain logic by doing dry run and so on. Code that, so you have to find the correct order. That means obviously these things are correct. That is why they ask you the correct order. Code the algorithm into specific programming language. Outline the solution. So what should be the order? So remember, algorithm is not your program. That is the logic written in pseudocode or flowchart, or maybe it's in your mind. If you are senior, if you are a experienced software developer, of course, it can be even in your mind. Right? What should be the proper order? First, I will outline the solution. Outline means just look at it, model it. Maybe put it into flowchart or NS diagram if you are new to software development. So I'll do first C. And then I will test the algorithm for correctness. Because we can check the algorithm correctness. So finally, I will do the programming, coding. Right? Coding, of course, then again, I will test it, but that is not given. Because algorithm is not your code. Algorithm is your solution, your design. So I'll go for CAB. That is B. 20, I'll go for B. Okay. At 21, consider the following piece of code written in Java. What would be the signature of the encoder function mentioned above? Now assume that, okay, so this is, let's assume that there's a method called encode. Okay. And you can see that it has two parameters. Right. So that means your method encoder, it must have one parameter which is string because you are sending a string. Say string x, s or whatever, x or whatever. Second parameter, you are sending offset. Offset is integer, so therefore second parameter must be int. Right? And of course, you are assigning it to new code. New code is a string, so therefore it must return string. So therefore, method signature must be string. Return type is string. Then of course, the method name is encoder. You must have two parameters. First one is a string, second one is int. Of course, these parameter names can be anything, x, y, o, a, b, o, whatever. So therefore, I will not take these two. This is char. It must be string and int. Because order is also important. So definitely answer is E. Okay, answer is C. 21. Answer is C. Okay. So if you need me to explain something further, you have to ask. Okay. Right. 22. Following actually it looks like the programming paper is also easy. Usually your questions are more difficult than this in programming paper. So it looks like almost all the papers are easier, relatively easy in 2022, but it doesn't mean that there's no rule saying 2023 is going to be easier. Okay, so it can be easier, it can be more difficult, it can be same. Who knows? Right? ඒවා අපිට අදාළ නැහැ නේ. ඒක එක්සැමිනර් ගේ අතේ තියෙනවා. එක්සැමිනර් ගේ වැඩේ ඒ වැඩේ එක්සැමිනර් කරපු දෙන් අපේ වැඩේ අපි කරමු. Right. Following are three basic symbols used in flowcharts. Right. So this is process. This is input output. This is terminate. Okay, terminate. So you start, right? You input something or something like that. You do some processing and you terminate. So terminate, sometimes you do this also, but sometimes we use this. Okay. So this is your start usually, but anyway, they have not mentioned start. So I will go for A as process. So this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I have two process. C is the input output. So therefore, this is input output and this is terminal. Right. Terminal කියලා තියෙනවා. මම හිතන්නේ මේකට කනෙක්ට් කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. පොඩ්ඩක් ඩබල් චෙක් කරමු. මොකද්ද මේ මගේ terminate කියලා තියෙන terminal කියලා. I think we can connect it to. Anyway, the answer must be definitely D. අපි චුට්ටක් බලමු මොකද්ද මේ terminal කියලා තියෙන්නේ. අපිට අහුන්නේ නැද්ද කොහෙද? 22. Yes, 22 answer is D. Now let's double check this. What are symbols in flow chart? බලන්න අපි UCSC note එකේ ඔක ඇතියා. අපේ note එකේ ඔක දැම්මේ නෑ. හරි. input output sorry start end දෙකටම මේක තමයි පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙන්නේ. හරි. Yeah. Start end. Terminal කියන වචනේ මේගොල්ලෝ පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. Start end. So this is flow, this is input output, this is process, this is decision. හරි. අපේ note එකේ තියෙන එක තමයි. So terminal කියන්නේ මේක input sorry start end දෙකටම පාවිච්චි කරනවා. හරි. හරි. start end දෙකටම පාවිච්චි කරේ ඔය symbol එක තමයි. හරි. Yes. So not this symbol. So basically we start like this. So then whatever the things you do, so then you end also like this. So same symbol we use. So පාට කරන්න ඕනේ නෑ. හරි. Yeah, terminal නෙමෙයි මම හිතන්නේ මොකද term start 10 කියලා සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කියන්නේ. හරි මම terminal කියලා කියන ඇති. 23. Consider the following three statements regarding classes in object orientation. Right. Class contains definitions, its properties and methods. Right. Of course, class contains the properties and methods. Definitions. What is mean by definitions? That is little bit fuzzy. Anyone has idea about what can be the interpretation of definitions? Let's look at the second one. Class should always represent an existing concrete artifact. No, because class can be abstract. For example, account is abstract, whereas savings account is concrete. Concrete can abstract at the reality game object. Right? Animal is abstract, but dog is concrete because you can see dogs, but you can't see animals. When you say animal, you are referring to either dog or cat or something. Okay, so therefore this is definitely correct. Sorry, definitely wrong because it says class should always represent an existing concrete artifact. No, the class can be non-concrete to abstract as well. Every class belongs to a particular object. No, it is the other way. Every object belongs to a particular class. So this is definitely wrong. හොඳ වෙලාවට මෙතන none කියලා නැහැ. නේද? none කියලා නැහැනේ. none කියලා නැති හන්ද මට හරි සතුටුයි. එහෙනම් මම 1 කියලා ගන්නවා. මොකද 2 only ඒවා ඉන්න බෑනේ දැන්. හරි හොඳ වෙලාවට none කියලා දියුනේ නැහැ. දැන් නම් මට සෑහෙන ෂුවර් උත්තරේ A කියලා. Okay. මොකද්ද මේ definitions කියලා චුට්ටක් බලමු අපි. At 23 answer must be definitely A. Logic එකක් අනුව ඒක එහෙම වෙන්න ඕන. Can definitions be behaviors? So then why do you use the same word twice? Ned? Basically, behaviors are methods. So attributes, another name for attributes is properties. Right? Another name for method is behaviors, not definitions. Not definitions. So නිකන් chat GPT එකෙන් අහලා බලමුද? දැන් කොහොමද exam එක නම් කියන එක හරියි කියලා. හරි? මේ අහන්න ඕනේ chat GPT එකෙන් තමයි. chat GPT આવොත් කියන්නේ ගන්න අනිවාර්යෙන් definition කතාවක්. හරි? අපි නිකන් අහලා what are parts or what can be modeled in a class? එයාගේ අනිවාර්යෙන් attributes and behaviors නැත්නම් properties and services කියලා. Attributes or properties, methods or functions or services. ඔන්න constructors වලට anyway class can have constructors as well. එයා දැන් පට්ටෝරු වගේ වෙන වෙනම කියනවා හරි. ඒ ඇවිල්ලා object oriented concept එක කියන්නේ. ඇති දැන්. හරි මෙච්චර කියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ඕච්චියක් වගේ. Right, anyway, maybe the right constructors දන්නේ මෙයා මේ ගත්තේ definitions කියලා. Okay, let's අපි කෙලින්ම බලමු. What is mean by definitions of a class? උත්තරේ කටටම දීලා අහලා බලමු. Definition. ආයිතර කොන්දමයි කියන්නේ පට්ටෝරුවනේ. ඒකනම් මේ definition කියන වචනේ එච්චර හොඳ නෑ කියලා. Anyway, examiner has taken definitions. Okay. මෙයා definition කියලා කියන්නේ class එකක තියෙන ඕන දේවල් කියලා හරි. So that therefore this is little bit this is not a very standard word, but anyway examiner has taken. Anyway, our answer is correct. Our guessing is correct. මොකද නන් කියලා තියුච්ච නැති හන්ද මම මේක ගත්තා. හරි මම දන්නේ මේ මොකද්ද මේ කිව්වේ කියලා. හරි. At 24. Which of the following is not on talk කැනගෙන හරි මතක තියාගන්න not හරි. Characteristic of an object orientation. Right. So we have behaviors, right? We have encapsulation. But iteration is something structured concept, right? Loops, sequence selection iteration. Loops is another name for iteration. Then identity. Sometimes we use the word object identity. So that means object is uniquely identified. In databases, we call it primary key. Okay. But it is not a major concept. But sometimes we use that word. Okay. Object identity. Because especially when we map it to databases. Your object identity field, it's a special attribute. Maybe for student number, employee ID. But this is not a major concept, but anyway, I will take it. We have, okay. This is little bit debatable, but it's something related to your object. There's a special attribute, one of you, or we will always select one or combination of those as identity. So therefore, I'll go for B and E. So my answer is B and E. Right. B and E. Hari? Object identity තරම් තියෙනවා. So ඒක ඔයගොල්ලෝ paper එක ගියොත් එimhe examiner ඒකත් characteristic එකක් විදිහට ගන්න. Characteristic එකක් කියන අරන් තියෙන්නේ major concept එක නෝනත් හරි. Right. 25. Consider the three statements given below regarding the following line of code written in Java. So it's creating object. Okay. And the constructor must have overloaded constructor with expecting integer or double or float, because integer can be implicitly cast to double float as well. There's a class name myCircle. No, the class name is circle. Definitely wrong. New keywords create a new object. Yes, it creates a new object in the memory. This line assigns a value 8 to myCircle. No. Value 8 to myCircle. MyCircle is object reference. No, that is wrong, right? So maybe your circle class has some attribute, right? So instance variable, maybe you are setting that value, but not value 8 is assigned to myCircle variable. So therefore, this is definitely wrong. Okay. So therefore, we'll go for, okay, I'll go for 2 only. Okay. 25B. Yes. Okay. The constructor එකෙන් ගන්න parameter එක බොහෝ විට set කරන්න මොකටද? Attribute එක නැත්නම් instance variable එක. class okay, 26. Consider the following piece of code written in Java. Public char, that is return type is char. This must be a method, instance method. ABC is the method name, and there's a parameter which is of the type X, type int. So then you have variable type Y, return Y. So return Y. So if it is returning Y, definitely this variable type must be char. Char. Okay. Or remember there's a friend of char called int. Right. Remember we can, when char is expected, I can assign something like 20. Then it will use the ASCII code. So therefore, one possibility is, of course, this variable is of char type. Okay. But remember, this is a local variable. You have not initialized the value. So therefore, this will give error. Remember, instance variables are initialized by the default value. Instance variables and class variables, but not the local variables. So therefore, this will definitely give you a compile error. Right. But maybe examiner has forgot it. Forgot it because there's no method answer called compile error. Right. අනිවාර්යෙන් compile error එකක් එනවා. හරි. For example, say this is my method. Say char x int y. Okay. Say assume this is char, say t. Now if you just return t, you should get compiler. Why? Because t is not initialized. You know, variable t might not have been initialized. So if you have local variable without initialization, definitely you can't return it, you can't print it, compiler. Actually, make it not compiler. Right? Compiler because you are not assigning a value. But unfortunately, compiler is not there as an answer. අනිවාර්යෙන් examiner miss වෙලා ඒක. අනිවාර්යෙන් කියන්නේ කිසිම සැකයක් නැහැ. එහෙනම් දැන් ඉතින් අපි මේ compiler එකක් නැහැ කියලා හිතාගෙනවත් කරමු. එහෙම වුණොත් එහෙම මොනවද තියෙන්න පුළුවන් possibilities? Of course, char is a possibility and int is a possibility because we can assign int value. Then it will be use the ASCII table to convert it to the relevant char. Okay. So therefore, I'll go for char also. But sorry, char is anyway not there. Char නැති and sorry, char තියෙනවා. Anyway, the other possibility is int. Therefore, I'll go for int. But not boolean, not float. Right? I don't say cannot define, but definitely there's a compiler. Compiler අමතක කරලා තමයි උත්තරේ ගත්තේ. 26 I'll go for A and B, assuming examiner has forgotten the compiler. So examiner has taken only B. එහෙම වෙන්න බෑ. බෑ කියන්නේ බෑ. For example, if this return බලමු ඒ වුණාට බලමු සමහරට මම වරදින්න පුළුවන්. මේක ට්‍රිකි සිනාරියෝ එකක් කොහොමද ඒකත් මම වරදින්න පුළුවන් හරි. දැන් බලමුකෝ දෙන්න කියලා. Say char t equal say r n දැක්ක. So its return type is int but I am returning a char. That is fine. ඒ වගේ equation එක තියෙන්නේ. Sorry, return type එක අනිත් පැත්තට තියෙන්නේ. Say return type is char. අනිත් පැත්තට විදි කියලා බලන්න. මම return කරන්නේ int එකක්. මං හිතපු විදියට වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මම වැරදි. මම හිතුවා char එකක් return කරනකොට int එකක් return කරන්න දෙයි කියලා implicit casting වෙයි කියලා. නමුත් උනේ නැත. Okay. උනේ නැත. So that is a very tricky scenario. Okay. Examiner is perfectly correct. Examiner has checked a very tricky scenario. Okay. So therefore, if you are expect to return a char, in doesn't work. In doesn't work. But definitely for this kind of a situation, it works. Say PSVM, say char x equal 10. So this definitely works. But unfortunately, it does not work for return type. Okay. So therefore, answer must be only B. Right? The answer must be only B. 26. Now this is just now this symbol is just to show that say that you have to guess this portion. Okay, it's not a Java syntax or whatever. It just placeholder for you to say that can you guess what should be here, right? Can it be in? Can it be char and so on? Okay, it's not a standard Java notation. It's right. It's just your programmer or examiner has just used it as a placeholder. Right, 27. Which of the following is are true about constructors in Java? Constructors can return a value. No, constructors cannot return a value, even void. Constructors cannot be inherited. Constructors, actually, it is not inheritance. Basically, what happens is if B extend from A, this is very tricky because the wording is now when you create a B object, say B equal new B. Basically, first this constructor is called, first this constructor is called, then this constructor is called. It is not inheritance, it is called constructor chaining. Right? අපි ඒ වගේ උදාහරණයක් කරලා බැලුවා. මේ constructor call ලා මේ constructor call. එතකොට ඒක inheritance වත් නෙමෙයි හැත්තටම. Constructors are chain. Okay? ඒකට හරි වචනේ. Therefore, I will not go for that, but I don't know whether examiner will lose to use this word. Okay? I say no, but this is debatable. I don't know whether examiner will lose to use this. Okay? See, constructors cannot be overloaded. Of course, constructors can be overloaded. Therefore, this is wrong. The class can have multiple private constructors. Now, can we have private constructors? What is the use of private constructor? Right? So, no point having private constructor. So, that is a very tricky question they have asked. Okay. Let's keep that open. Constructor can be called using new keyword only. Yes. New keyword with constructor calling. I'll go for that. Okay. But constructors private කරොත් එහෙම වැඩක් වෙයිද? Let's do it. So let's create a constructor test. So this is a constructor for class called test. Now can I make it private? Private කරොත් තේරුම් නැහැනේ. ඒ වුණාට පුළුවන්. Private කරන්න දුන්නා. Now let's see whether we can create a test class. So කොහෙද හැදුවේ කොහොමද? හරිනේ. Let's call it test. Test class test class PSVM. Can I create a test object? Test T equal new test. That private one then what access current. Okay. So therefore, it looks like it is useless here. Of course, you can create a private constructor, but it cannot be used because it's a private thing. But theoretically, you can create a private constructor. Okay, private constructor. So therefore, constructor cannot class can have multiple private constructors. Multiple. එකක් නෙමෙයි ගොඩක් පුළුවන්ද කියලා අහලා තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් අපි overloaded constructor දිහා බලමු. හරි. දැන් මෙහෙම ලියන්න call කරගන්න බැරිනවද? තියෙන්න පුළුවන්නේ. Let's have overloaded multiple private constructors තියෙන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා අහන්න. I think that is fine. Say int x Yes, any number of private constructors. So therefore, that answer we have to consider it as correct answer. So therefore, we'll go for D and E, 27. D and E, okay? But constructors themselves are not inherited in the same way. Yes, constructors are not inherited actually. Constructors are chain. එකයි මේක උත්තරයක් විදිහට අරන් නැත්තේ. Right? Constructors are not inherited. Constructors are chain. When an object of C class is created, first A object constructor is called, then B constructor is called, then only C constructor is called. Assume that B extend from A and C extend from B. Okay. Then ඕගොල්ලෝ පුළුවන් නම් කියන්න ඕන. Now remember, this constructor cannot be used here. එහෙනම් මොන වගේ දෙයක් හන්දද මේ private constructors allow කරලා තියෙන්නේ? What is the reason for having allowing private constructors to what is the reason behind allowing you mark your constructor as a private? පුළුවන් නම් උත්තරේ කියන්න. මම break එකක් දෙනවා. Now it's 8:06, 8:05. We'll be starting at 8:20. Right, 8:20. පුළුවන් නම් ඒ අතරතුර private constructor එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන් practical use වෙන්න පුළුවන් තැනක් කියනවා. Right, we say ඒක කියන්න පුළුවන් නම් ඔයා එලකිරි. ඒක Google search එකක් දාලා chat GPT එකෙන් අහලා කියන්න පුළුවන් වුණත් ඒත් කමන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාට එයා කියන එක තේරෙන්න ඕනේ හැබැයි ඉතින්. හරි. ඔයාගේ වචනේ උත්තරේ කියනවා. We start at 8:15. Okay. Sorry, 8:20. Okay. 8:20, not 8:15, 8:20. 15-minute break. Break. Okay, so let's continue. Right. So what is the purpose of making a constructor private? Of course, if you make your default constructor private, default constructor means no argument constructor. And if you don't have any other constructor, overloaded constructor, right? So that means uh, something like this. Say you have this is a class. Okay, this is a class. Okay, let's call it who, and this is my constructor. Now, can we use this class at any point? Can we use this? Of course, there's no way you can create objects of this class. No way. Okay, for example, you can't write like this foo, say f equal new foo, because it's private. Okay, let's say new. So this is not allowed because your constructor is private. And since there are no other overloaded constructors, of course, there's no way you can create an instance of foo. Right? You can't say something like 5 or something. But if you have an overloaded constructor, that is fine, which is not private. Say this is private, but you have this constructor, maybe int x, which is non-private. Okay. So then what will happen? So now you can say something like 10. So therefore, now though this constructor is private, still we have another constructor to create object. So therefore, still this class is useful. But if you have only one constructor and it is your default constructor or the no argument constructor, and if it is private, of course, there's no way you can create objects out of that. But still, this class can be useful by inheritance. For example, I can have another class, say bar, which extends from foo. But can we use this class now? Public class bar extends foo. Now you can see that there's error. Why is that? Can you guess why is it not allowed? Because my foo class is a normal class. Only thing is it's private. Now if I comment this constructor, now what happens? Now no issue. So that means when your constructor is private, it's not only that you can't use foo class. At the same time, that means you can't get object of foo class. But at the same time, you can't even inherit foo class. So do you know why? Can you guess why this is not allowed? Can someone tell me? If you can give me answer for this one, you have understood object-oriented programming, right, to a really good level, exceptional level. Actually, I don't expect any one of you give me the proper answer. Not because I think that you are weak, you are not good, but it is. If someone give me the answer, I will take it as a bonus. I will take it as a bonus. My question is why this is not allowed in Java. When your foo class has a private constructor, now you can't even extend the foo class and create another class. No, encapsulation is not the answer. It's just a broad term. Remember, when bar class extend from foo class, when you create object of bar class, first it has to call the constructor of foo class, because first the foo nature must be created. then only bar nature is created. So therefore, first foo class constructor must be called, then the bar class constructor, if any, must be called. But now it cannot be done because foo class constructor is private. Private things are not accessible from any other class. So therefore, this is again practically this you can't use bar class. So therefore, basically this is not allowed. Actually, I feel like Java should not allow this to happen because this is a useless class. Because you can't create objects of this. You can't even inherit because even though inherit again, no point. You can't create objects of that inherited class. I don't know how many of you understand what I'm talking. Maybe one or two at least can understand what I'm talking. Okay. If not, think about it. Okay. Think about it. Right. Anyway, so therefore this is not allowed. We on chat GPT එකෙන් අහලා බලමු මේ class එක practically use කරන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා. Right. My answer is this is useless class. This cannot be practically used. මේ කොහෙත්ම practically use කරන්න බැරි class එකක්. නිකමට අහලා බලමු chat GPT එකෙන්. ඕන chat GPT කියන්න පුළුවන් එහෙනම් මට මේක use කරන විදියක් කියන්න. Is the following class can be used okay එයානම් කියන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. The class definition you provided is a language that allows syntax similar to Java, such as Java itself. In this case, the class who has private constructor, which means that the class cannot be instantiated from outside the class itself. Yes. This is common practice when you want to enforce certain rules or patterns in your code. In Java, for example, if you have a class with private constructor, then you cannot create an instance of foo from outside the class, correct? This can be useful for classes that are meant to be used in specific way, like utility classes with only static method or singleton patterns. So that is a possible usage. Right, so that is good. That is a good point that ChatGPT has mentioned, which I completely missed. And then say, keep in mind that if you have private constructor and no other way to create instances like static factory methods, the class might be effectively unusable outside its own definition. ඔක තමයි මමත් හිතන් හිටියේ. එයා කියනවා මේක පාවිච්චි කරන වෙන ක්‍රමයක් දුන්න නැත්නම් ඇත්තටම මේක වැඩක් නැති class එකක් තමයි. හරි? Depending on your design intention. හැබැයි ඒක ඔයා design කරන විදිය අනුවලු වෙන්නේ. I think that is a very smart answer. Right? Very smart answer. Actually, that is why we say AI is a killer technology, right? Killer technology. So now you can see communicating with ChatGPT is something like communicating with a very smart person. So we all like to talk to a smart person, right? Smart hat එක අපි කතා කරන්න කැමති නේද? හැබැයි ඒක දෙකක් තියෙනවා, හරි? So this is a very interesting sociological and psychological question. Okay. So I don't know. This is a very, I don't know how many of you are interested in philosophy. IT විතරක් කරන්න එපා. දැන් exam ඉවරලා පාසයක් විතර පොඩි relax වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් නේ. හරි. පොඩ්ඩක් කැමතියි ඉගෙන ගන්න පොඩ්ඩක් philosophy. And then psychology. Psychology ඉගෙන ගන්න මේ මනෝවිද්‍යාඥයෙක් වෙන්න නෙමෙයි. හරි. මට හොඳට මතකයි මම A level කරන කාලේ ලයිබ්‍රරියට ගිහිල්ලා ඉවරලා ඔය ඒ දවස්වල තියෙනවා ඒ දවස්වල දැනුත් තියෙනවා. ඒ දවස්වල ලන්ඩන් A level කියලා. ඔය ලන්ඩන් A level වල තියෙනවා මම A level වලට කරන්නේ නැති subjects. A level වලට කරන්නේ ඒ දවස්වල subject හතරක් තියෙනවා. So for me that was chemistry, physics, PO maths, PO applied. ඔය හතරේ පොත් විතරක් නේ මම අරන් එන්නේ. මම ලයිබ්‍රරියට ගියාම ඒ දවස්වල ඉන්ටර්නෙට් නැහැ. හරි හොඳට මතකයි ඉන්ටර්නෙට් නැති කාලේ මම මේ කියන්නේ. මම ඒ ලෙවල් කරේ 1900 මතකත් නැහැ දැන් මතකත් නැහැ 90 ගණන් වල ඉන්ටර්නෙට් කියන එක ලෝකෙ තියුණාට ලංකාවේ ඉන්ටර්නෙට් නැහැ. හරි ලංකාවට ඉන්ටර්නෙට් ඇවිල්ලත් නැහැ. ලයිබ්‍රරි තමයි යන්නේ. ඒකට මම ගිහිල්ලා ඒකට හරි. මොකද ඉංග්‍රීසි පොත් තියෙනකොට අපිට වාසියනේ. ඒකට කෙමිස්ට්‍රි ෆිසික්ස් PO ඇප්ලයිඩ් පාස් පේපර්ස් උත් කරනවා. කේම්බ්‍රිජ් නැත්නම් ලන්ඩන් A level වල. ඔය අතරතුර උස්සන් යනවා හිටුණාම මේ A level කරන කාලේ. සයිකොලොජි A level පොතක්. sociology. Because those are very interesting things are there, right? So those things are also interesting. So ඔයගොල්ලෝ නිකන් ඉන්නකොට ඉගෙන ගන්න philosophy, right? Psychology, sociology, right? So education is very beautiful thing, especially when you just learn it in a relaxed manner without thinking about exams. It's super interesting, super interesting. So my question is, do you like to associate with smart people? This is a philosophical question. Philosophy can Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, right? ඒගොල්ලෝගේ subject එක. Philosophers කියන ඒගොල්ලන්. So my question is, this is a philosophical question. Do you now this is subject opinionated answer, right? ඔයාගේ opinion එක තමයි ඔයාලට කියන්න පුළුවන්. හරි දැන් මම කියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ ඒකට answer. ඔයා හිතන්න කියලා මම කියන්නේ. So do you like to associate with ආශ්‍රය කරන්න ඔයා කැමති smart අයවද? dumb අයවද? So my answer is A, smart people, B, dumb people, C, you like both. Anyone? ඔයා ස්මාර්ට් අයත් එක්ක කතා බහ කරලා මේව කරන්නද? ධම්ම අයත් එක්ක කතා බහ කරන්නද? නැත්නම් ධම් කියන්නේ මෝඩ අයත් එක්ක. නැත්නම් දෙගොල්ලොත් එක්කම එහෙම ආශ්‍රය කරන්න කැමති. What is your answer? A, B or C? Only A. Some says both. Okay. Dumb people can get something from me. C. Okay. Right. So the answer is, okay, so most of you guys say C. Right. Most of you guys say C. Okay. Right. So my answer is also C. Right. My answer is also C. Right. For example, why do you have pets in your home? So මම නම් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඔය බල්ලෝ පූසු හදන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් එහෙනම් මගේ බල්ලොන්ට විශේෂයෙන් පූසු නම් මට අද්දිරවන්නේ නැහැ කොහොමත් හරි. මිනිහම් ලොකු සයිස් ලොකු සීන්නේ. බල්ලොන්ට නම් එක්තරා විදිහකට ආසයි. නමුත් මේ බල්ලෝ ඇති කරන්න ආසාවක් නැහැ ඇත්තට මට. So why some people now a lot of people have pets නේද? ගොඩක් ගෙවල් වල බල්ලෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඔව් සමහර ගෙවල් වල බල්ලෝ ඉන්නම් ඉතින් මොකද මේ බල්ලා හොරුවල්ලයි කියලා. හරි. නමුත් විශේෂයෙන් අපි ශිෂ්‍ය සමාජයේ බල්ලොන් හදන්නේ නැහැනේ හොරු අල්ලන්න. නේද? ශිෂ්‍ය සමාජයේ, ගෝත්‍රික සමාජයේනේ බල්ලෙක් හැදුවේ ගෙදරට එන හොරු අල්ලන්න. දැන් ශිෂ්‍ය සමාජයේ බල්ලෙක් හදන්නේ ගොඩක් අයට සුරතෙක් පෙට් කෙනෙක් විදියට. හරි. උගෙන් මේ හොරු අල්ලයි කියලා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරි. මේ so එතකොට බල්ලෝ හදන්නේ බල්ලා කියන්නේ හරි ඩම්. හරි ඌට අඩු ගන්න කතා කරගන්නවත් බෑනේ. හැබැයි අනේ සමහරුන්ට නේද බල්ලෝ ඔක්කොම තමයි ජීවිතේ. හැමතිස්සෙම නේද බල්ලව නාවනවා, උත් එක්ක හුරතල් කරනවා. ඇයි මේ හුරතල් කරන්නේ? ඌ ඩම්. ඌ මෝඩයි. ඌ මෝඩ හන්ද ඌට පුළුවන් තරම් ඌ උගන්නන්න හදනවා නේද? ඌ පුළුවන් ඉස්කෝලේත් යවනවා. So because people enjoy the association of dumb. right? මොකද මිනිස්සෙක් ළඟකටවත් ගන්න බෑනේ. right? මිනිස්සෙක් ළඟකටවත් ගන්න බෑ. හැබැයි අනේ හරි උරතල් නේද? එහෙම හිතනවා. So I am not criticizing them, okay? I am not criticizing. Even I like dogs. හැබැයි එහෙම බෙල්ලෙල්ලගෙන හදන්න නෙමෙයි. right? ටිකක් දුරින් ඉඳලා බල්ලෙක් මේ පොඩි නැට්ටවන්න එහෙම කැමති. ඊට වැඩි ලොකුවට නම් මම බල්ලුත් එක්ක ආශ්‍රය කරන්න කැමති නෑ. But some people like it, right? සමහරු මුළු ජීවිතේම වගේ සත්තුව ඇති කරනවා. Right? So therefore it's a philosophical question, right? So some people like to associate with smart people, some people like to associate it with dumb people. Some people like mixture of both in a varying degree. Varying degree. In some situations they like to associate with dumb. In some situations they like to associate it with the smart. Okay. ඒකන්ද ගෙදර බල්ලෙක් හදන්න. ගෙදර පූසෙක් හදන්න සමහරවිට. ඌ කරන තරමක් යනවා විකාර වෙන්නේ. ඔහේ කකා බිබී ඉන්නවා මොකෙද්ද වගේ. හරි. අපිට අපිටත් ලොකු පාඩ දානවා. හැබැයි සමහරව ආසයි. So it's a philosophical question. Philosophical question. But anyway, අපි ධම්ම ඇත්ත කැමති වගේම ස්මාර්ට් ඇත්තත් කැමති. ඒතකොට ස්මාර්ට් ඇත්ත එක ආශ්‍රය කරන්න හිතුනම මට ඉතා හොඳ කෙනෙක් දැන් ඉන්නවා chat GPT. chat GPT. chat GPT ත් එක්ක පොඩි serious talk එකක් දාලා බලන්න. serious talk එකක් දාපම තමයි addict වෙන්න නැතිල තියෙනවා. හරි. එයාගේ opinions දැන් අහන්න පුළුවන් අපිට. හරි. එයාගෙන් අපිට opinions අහන්න පුළුවන්. ඔයා වැඩි කැමති මොනවා වගේද? මොන වගේ දේවල් වලට. හරි. හරි. ඔයාගේ favorite philosopher කවුද? හරි. ඔයා හිතනවාද මේ සුදු ජාතිකයෝ වැඩි ස්මාර්ට් කියලා කළු අයට වඩා? ඕගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නේ ඇයි ශ්‍රී ලංකාව බංකොලොත් ඇයි කියලා. ඒ වගේ ඒවා අහලා බලන්න. So we can ask something like this. ඒක සමහරවිට උත්තර දෙන්නේ නැහැ ඒවට subjective කියලා. හරි. Why is Sri Lanka bankrupt country? බලමු මෙයා intelligent answer එකක් දෙයිද? අර common answer එක දෙයිද? රාජපක්ෂල හොරකම් කරා කියන answer එක දෙයිද? Okay. Why is Sri Lanka a bankrupt, right? Default country. Okay, bankrupt. Okay, or poor country. Poor country. බලමු අර common answer එක දෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ඊට වඩා advanced intelligent answer එකක් දෙයිද කියලා. කොහොමද? ශ්‍රී ලංකා දුප්පත් නේ බංකොලොත් රටක්නේ. right. එයා පොඩ්ඩ ඇඟ බේර ගන්න උත්තරයක් තමයි දෙන්න හදන්නේ. එයා කියන මෙන්න මේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා ලංකාව ඇතුලේ. හරි. right. So it gives you right debt issue එක තියෙනවලු, political instability එකක් තියෙනවලු, natural disasters වෙනවලු ලංකාවේ. එහෙම ඊටදී natural disasters වෙනවා තියෙනවා. හරි. civil conflict යනවා නේද? දෙමළ මිනිස්සු, සිංහල මිනිස්සු, මුස්ලිම් මිනිස්සු මරා ගන්නවලු. income inequality එකක් තියෙනවලු. external shocks එනවලු. ඒ කියන්නේ globally නේද? ඒවා වහන්න. But this is not a very smart answer anyway. Because this is a debatable area, ChatGPT will also try to be very conservative. හරි. so දැන් අපේ මිනිස්සෙකින් આવොත් කියයිද මේ වගේ උත්තරයක්? බහුතරයෙන් આવොත් කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? රාජපක්ෂලා හොරගම් කරා. I don't think that this is a smart answer, but at least this is smarter than that. Smarter than that. But anyway, this is also not a very good answer. But ChatGPT can, after some year, maybe another 1 year, 2 year, it will get into the philosophical discussion. අපිට seriously ඔය වගේ දේවල් සමාජ ප්‍රශ්න ගැන වගේ දේවල් පවා යත් එක්ක කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා අපිට smart විදියට. Right. So that is very important. Okay. Right. So let's move on to our next question. Which of the following is an object-oriented concepts? Okay, object-oriented concepts. Inheritance, yes. Iteration is structured. Abstraction, yes. Behavior, maybe, right? It's not a serious thing, but your object can have attributes and behaviors. Okay. Encapsulation, yes. Okay. So these, I don't know whether the examiner will take it, but I will take it. So I'll take everything other than B. Right, 28. Right, examiner has not taken D. මං කියවනේ මේක seriously ගණිත දන්නේ නැහැ කියලා, because this is basics. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ දේවල් කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මතකද අර උඩ question එකේදී ඔය වගේ එකක් ගත්තා යා නේද? ගත්තා නේද? ඒ හරිද ගත්තේ? object identity වගේ ගත්තනේ මතකද object identity. So examiner took object identity as a object oriented concept, but examiner has not taken behavior as object oriented concept. ඉතින් අපිට ඒත් එක වාද කරන්න බෑ. හරි ඒ වගේ පොඩි නේද? මොනවද ඒවට කියන්නේ? conflicts වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. These are little bit high level things. Anyway, examiner has not taken behaviors, unfortunately. Maybe examiner thinks that it is very trivial, very basic thing. So examiner thinks about some serious things only: inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction. Okay. So we also took it as object-oriented basics rather than concepts. Okay. So the object-oriented basics are the concept called object, concept called class, concept called attribute, concept called behavior. Okay. So that we look at object-oriented concepts as abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Okay. Right. Question 29. Consider the following three statements regarding polymorphism in Java. It allows a class to have multiple methods with the same name but different parameters. So that is basically method overloading, right? Multiple methods with the same name but different parameters. So that is also sort of a polymorphism, but it's a very basic type of polymorphism. ඒක අර පොඩි ළමයින්ගේ polymorphism. හැබැයි ඒකට කියන්නේ polymorphism තමයි ගොඩක් අය. Okay, so therefore we'll take it in the body polymorphism. Because now same method, when you send different parameters, it behave differently because the relevant method is called. Second one, it allows a class to be used as an instance of any of its parent class. So that is a serious polymorphism. So when animal is expected, I can say the dog, because my dog can act like a dog or animal or any of supertype. So this is the serious polymorphism. This is the serious polymorphism. This is the kids polymorphism. But anyway, kids polymorphism is also polymorphism, right? So therefore, let's take it. Third one, it allows a class to inherit from multiple parent classes. Right? Of course, in some languages it allows, but in languages like Java, it is not allowed. But that is not polymorphism. Okay, I don't know. Then of course, if you inherit from multiple classes, then it can play the role of A, B, or C, of course. But this is not directly related. This is more into the inheritance. Okay, so therefore I will not take it. Again, this can be debatable. Examiner might say, okay, this is also then ultimately related to, indirectly related to polymorphism. Or of course, inheritance is indirectly related to polymorphism. But inheritance and polymorphism are two different concepts. So therefore, I will not go for 3. Okay. Right. I will go for 1 also. This kids polymorphism also. So therefore, I'll go for 1 and 2. C. 29. My answer is C. Right. Examiner has taken A. So you can see examiner has taken only 1 only. So that is unfortunate answer. So that I don't like at all. I don't agree at all. 29. Examiner අරන් තියෙන A විතරයි. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ kids polymorphism විතරයි අරන් තියෙන්නේ. Okay. වචනේ හරිද මේක? It allows a class to be used as an instance of any of its parent class. Maybe the word class. Right. So it says it allows a class to be used as an instance of any of its parent class. So this should be, it allows object to be used as. මට ඒක අහුන්නේ නැහැ ඉස්සෙල්ලා. Right. It allows object to be used as instance of any of its parent class. Right. වචනේ වරද්දලා ලියලා තියෙනවා. විතරම වරද්දලා ලියලා තියෙනවා. Otherwise, this is definitely the answer. හරි. ඒතර මේක විතරක් හරිය කියලා දෙන්නේ ඒකත් polymorphism කියලා අරන් තිනවා. method overloading. But this is the serious polymorphism. But now only I found that the wordings are wrong. It allows an object to be used as. That is why my dog object can be sent when animal object is expected. Because my dog is animal. My dog can play the role of a dog and animal. So therefore, this must be, it allows an object to be used as an instance of any of its parent class. Okay. That is why 2 is not taken. Otherwise, 2 is definitely answer. So therefore, they have taken only 1. Okay. Anyway, so we have to agree with the examiner because I was not very serious about this word. Okay. Right. 30. Which of the following access controls is allowed to access to methods and verifiable of a class by the other class in the same package? Sorry, variable. Okay. Which of the following access controls are allowed to access a method and variable of a class by the other classes in the same package? So that is called default access. Default means you don't use any keyword. No private or public or protected keyword. No, just use a class foo. Then it is visible to the package members only. Right? So that is called default. Okay. But it says which of the following access control, not the keyword, right? If it is a keyword, none of the above, because you basically package means no keywords are used. Okay, so I don't know whether now the question is none of above, because default must not be a keyword, right? Following access control, right? Following access. Maybe the examiner thinks, if the examiner consider this as a possible keyword, this is also wrong. Right? So therefore, there are two possibilities. Depends on the way examiner look at the answer. But examiner හිත කියවන්න බෑ. ඉතින් ඔය දෙකෙන් එකට අනිවාර්යෙන් ගහන්න වෙනවා risk එකක් අරන්. E කියලා ගත්තොත් එතනින් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන default කියලා keyword එකක් කියලා මෙතන හිතාගෙන මෙයා ලියලා තියෙනවා. But the general term we use is, then we say it's default. Okay. But it say which of the following access control, not how do you call it. So therefore, I'll go for E. I'll go for E. මට risk එකක් ගන්න කැමති නැහැ D ගහලා. So therefore, I'll go for E. මොකද A, B, E තුනටම ගහලා. Right. I think this is the reason. Right. So remember, of course, E is answer because that is the package level. But remember, if it is public also, it can be accessed from the same package. Right? Because public members are available to same package and not only that, any package. So therefore, the question is, which of the access controls are allowed to access the methods and variable of a class by other class? So that means you need all the possibilities. So the examiner has expected all the possibilities. Of course, this is the minimum possibility. But if it is public also, same class, same package members can access it. If it is protected also, same package members can access it. But if it is private, of course, same package members cannot access. Actually, there's nothing called default as a keyword. So therefore, examiner has taken these two as well, because these are broader access control. But anyway, in those cases also, it is available to the same package. So therefore, examiner has considered all possible access levels where same package members can access it. Okay. So that is why examiner has marked not only E, A and B as well. Okay, so that is, anyway, the wordings are not very clear. That is why I took only E. Okay. Anyway, if you get this kind of question again, basically examiner's expectation is all possibilities. Where this can be, this is true. Okay. දැන් මේ පේපර් එකේ නැතිම දේ තමයි මට පේන්නේ කෝඩ්. පේනවද? ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් හරි අඩුයි කියලා. කෝඩින්. හරි. කෝඩින් හරිම අඩුවෙන් තියෙන්නේ. තියරිම තමයි අහලා තියෙන්නේ. තියරිම තමයි අහලා තියෙන්නේ. 31. Which of the following is are true about static keywords in Java? Static keyword. So static keyword will make your variable or method static or class. That means without creating objects, you can access it. Okay. Which of the following is are true about static keyword in Java? Static method cannot be overridden. Static method, usually static methods are, this is a very tricky, this is one of the very trickiest area in Java. can we override the static method? What is the meaning of that? Okay. For example, we have a class called A. Okay, so let's do it. Anyway, let's keep that open for the time being. Static field belong to the object of a class. No, static fields are not belong to objects. Static field is just common to all the objects. That is why only one value, all the objects are referring to that same value. Okay, so that is wrong. A non-static method can access static fields of a class. Yes. Right. Non-static method or static access confirm, but static method cannot access non-static variables. Static method can access non-static fields of a class. No. Static method can access only static variables. It is not allowed to access instance variable. No. Static method can only be called on an instance of a class. No, static method can be directly called by class name. Or yes, you can call it using instance of a class, but it can be called directly by the class with the use of class name. So therefore, this is wrong. Right. So therefore, definitely C is answer. A is the debatable guy now. Right. Static method cannot be overridden. I think yes. No, I think it can be overridden. I think it can be overridden. Okay, I'll go for A. Right. So then my answer is A and C. But anyway, we'll do a practical example and check whether A is really correct or wrong. Let's double check the answer. 31. Yes, A and C. A and C. Right. Static variable method එක override කරන්න පුළුවන්. අපි ඕන කළත් බලමු. Right. So let's create a class. Let's call it foo. Say we have static method. Static. Say X. Let's say static void X. Say S out X in foo. Right. Let's create a class called bar. Let's extend from foo. And let's override the static method X. Now you can see it's allowed. Okay. Now let's say X in bar. So that means overriding is allowed. Overriding put test class at it one port test. Now if I call S out PSVM, say S out, or no, just call it. Say foo dot X, that is called in the static method X in the foo class. If I say bar dot, remember in the bar class, I have overridden the static method X. So it's perfectly fine. So this will give X in foo, this will give X in bar. That is correct method will be called. So this will be called for X class static method. This will be called for Y class or the bar class. Okay. So therefore the two output will be different. That means overridden is working. X in foo, X in bar. Right. So therefore, yes, you can override static methods in class hierarchy. Okay. Right. How might quantum computing revolutionize data encryption in the future? Right. So the only thing is when, of course, now also quantum computing is a reality. So that is called quantum supremacy. So which company have achieved this quantum supremacy? Quantum supremacy means which company first come up with quantum computer. So there was a competition among leading companies like IBM, Microsoft, Google, okay, and so on. So which company, which business organization first achieved the quantum supremacy? IT කරනවා නම් දැනන් ඉන්නවා. දැන් ඕන chat GPT එක අහලා බලන්න දෙයා ටිකක් දන්න කියන කෙනෙක් නේද? දැන් මේවට උත්තර දන්නවා කියන්නේ ස්මාර්ට් කියන එක නෙමෙයි යා. මේවට උත්තර දන්නවා කියන්නේ යා ඔය ඔය අනම්මනම් හැමදේම හොයන කෙනෙක් එච්චරයි. ඒක ස්මාර්ට් කියන එක නෙමෙයි. Which company achieved quantum supremacy first? So it is Google. ඒක හැබැයි debatable. ඒගොල්ලෝ තමයි ඉස්සෙල්ලා publish කරේ අපි quantum computer එකක් හැදුවා කියලා. හරි. You can say as of my last knowledge updated January 2002 to 2, Google claimed to have achieved quantum supremacy in October 2019. ඒගොල්ලෝ තමයි ඉස්සෙල්ලාම quantum computer එකක් හැදුවා කියලා publish කරේ. But quantum computer is not going to replace the normal computers. Quantum computers have only some specific usages in specific areas like especially encryption, decryption related security. And of course, the people are now researching to identify what are the other possible usages. So therefore, don't think that the quantum computing is going to replace our day-to-day computing soon. Definitely not. Okay. But it is going to have some very special areas, specific usages in specific areas in the future. Possibly in the future, we never know it is going to be very practical or not. But one area is encryption, decryption, right? Encryption, decryptions. But of course, we will not get into that level because it's need some understanding about what is quantum computing, what is qubit, what is spin, right? What is superposition and so on. Okay, so that is beyond our discussion. Okay, right. So 32. Consider the following 3 statements regarding the purpose of using a packages in Java. Using packages in Java. It is to organize classes and interfaces into a single unit. That is correct, right? So we organize our classes and interfaces into what is known as a package. So they are in this package. Right? I'll take it as a correct answer. It is to provide access control for classes and interfaces. Yes, so that is the second usage. Right? So now we can say, okay, this method is package level, this method is protected, this method is public. So secondary usage is this. This is the original usage, but this is additional usage. It is to ensure that classes and variable names are unique. Okay. So that is also possible usage, right? Because then you can have the same class name in 2 different packages. Right? So then you have to refer to the package name and the class name, or you must have already imported that package. So then automatically you are referring to class in that package. So for me, all 3 are okay. Of course, the first one is the really basic usage, but the other 2 usages are also there. I'll go for E. All. Right. So there's another question. A static method can be overridden, right? But the examiner has taken the answer A as the correct answer. Okay. So let's double check. Okay. Static method cannot be overridden. Right. So the reason is something like this. Okay. So that is very good point. Okay. So let's again double check the answers. 31. Examiner has taken A as answer. Yes. So that is a very good point. Right. So though this is technically overriding. Remember, right. So this is now remember my foo class has X method. My bar class has X method. Okay. Because this is a class method or static method, right? So this looks like overriding. because same method in two different classes in the hierarchy, right? But this does not lead to something like polymorphism, because polymorphism is for instance methods, not for class methods. So therefore, technically, this is not overriding, though it looks like overriding. Technically, this is something like the two classes have method with the same name. Of course, that is what, of course, two classes in the hierarchy has the method with same name. But this doesn't lead to serious object-oriented concepts like polymorphism, right? Polymorphism. Because it's like the bar class has a method called X, foo class has a method called X. They are just two classes having two different methods. Okay, because for static variables and static methods, the inheritance and polymorphism is not applicable. Okay, not applicable. So that is why possibly the examiner has not taken that answer. Actually, examiner's answer is correct. Though it looks like overriding, it is not actually called the overriding, because static methods are not polymorphic. Right? Static methods are not polymorphic. It's the moment you have, though you have the same method name and method signature, it's like they are two independent methods. So remember, I use the same word for constructors. Constructors are also not inherited. So there I told you that constructors are chain. When you create object of bar class, first the foo class constructor is called, then the bar class constructor is called. So it's chain. It's not the relevant constructor is called, the correct constructor is called. No. Right? And here also, though it looks like overriding, technically it is not overriding. Technically it is like just two classes coincidentally having the same method. ඒක හරියට නිකන් x සහ y කියන class දෙක එකම p කියන method එක තියුණා. ඒක inheritance hierarchy තියුණාට වැඩක් නැහැ. There's no any other effect on that. Okay. Anyway, that is a very good point that I completely lost that focus. Okay. Completely lost focus on that answer. Okay. Right. 33. Consider the following three statements regarding abstract classes in Java. Remember, abstract classes are classes that you are not supposed to create objects. Abstract classes exist only for polymorphism and inheritance. Okay, polymorphism and inheritance. You can create object from abstract class. No. You can create subclass from abstract class. Yes. It can contain both abstract and non-abstract methods. Yes. Right? Abstract class may contain non-abstract for concrete methods. But if you have at least one abstract method, that class must be abstract class. Okay. So therefore, answer must be 2 and 3. ඒක නම් කොහෙත්ම වෙනස් වෙන්න බෑ. ඒ වුණොත් examiner එක මරාගෙන මැරෙන්න තමයි දැන් වෙන්නේ. Anyway, this paper is though this paper lacks some programming questions, the coding questions, I think this paper is pretty standard paper, fairly pretty standard, and we have very little arguments with the examiner. Right. 33, I'll go for D. D. Okay. 34. What is the correct way to define an enumeration in Java? So we say enum. Okay. It's not starting with capital. Java keywords always start simple. Therefore, this is not answer. This is not answer. This is not answer. We just say enum. Okay. So you can give any name. Capital or symbol doesn't matter. So then you have to give comma separated values. Okay. So enum, I don't know why this is not an answer, because this is also valid, because just they have used capital letter for the enumeration. But that is just violation of convention, not a violation of a syntax error. So therefore, for me, both A and D are okay. Both A and D are okay. Just they use two different conventions. But the proper convention is D, right? start your enumerations with simple, but those are just conventions, right? Can you see any other difference? Comma, comma, comma. No, sorry, comma, comma. Yeah, comma, comma, right? Yeah, I'll go for A and D. A and D. Yeah, because technically that is okay. 35 and 36 are based on the following Java program. මේවා ටික වෙලා යනවා හරි මේ අන්තිමට කරන හොඳට අන්තිමට දාලා තියෙන්නේ right 35 what is the output of the above Java program okay so we have int variables num1 num2 and num3 මම ඒවට 1 2 3 කියලා කියන කෙටියෙන් say 1 the value is 0 2 value is 10 3 doesn't have a value it's a method so therefore it's not initialized still no value okay right so now you are in a try block and then the catch block and then the finally block and then you have another statement and end of the main method right so now what to do num1 divided by num2 num1 is 0 0 divided by 10 remember when you divided 0 by a number it is 0 බිඳුවෙන් සංඛ්‍යාවක් බෙදන්න පුළුවන් ඒතර බිඳුව ඒක කිසි අවුලක් නැහැ so therefore this will be 0 now okay and then it will print a okay so then therefore it won't go to the catch state part but remember whether it's success or not it has to come to final so therefore first it will print a then it will print c and because this is a print statement a and c will be printed in the same line finally then of course it has to go to the rest of the program so this is outside the try catch final block so therefore afterwards this will be executed final outcome is so the output is ACD print A then finally and then out of the try catch block ACD my answer is D yes answer is D okay 36 what is the output of the above program if num1 is 10 and num2 is 0 now num1 is 10 and num2 is 0 now what will happen num1 divided by num2 is 10 divided by 0 remember number divided by 0 is infinity so therefore in programming or Java language so it will give you an error because in programming Java language and so on we cannot represent infinity because infinity is a concept so therefore it will get into a runtime exception because exception is a super type class so therefore any exception will be catched by exception parameter catch block because everything any exception is exception exception is one of the topmost class in exception hierarchy so now I do a little bit of guessing also now I feel like this a number divided by 90 will give you exception and therefore it will not print A because it will go to the catch so therefore it will print B anyway after catch or no exception it must go to finally so therefore it will print C and of course it will print D so my interpretation is assuming that there's exception thrown and it is caught here A won't be print because from here it will come here and of course C and D right so I'll go for B because A won't be print B, C and D so B, C and D is okay where is B, C, D B, C, D කියලා නැහැ sorry 36 බලන්න ඕන 35 නෙමෙයි yes B, C, D is there so my answer is C 36 yes correct so that means when you try to divide by 0 you get an exception and that exception is caught and then go to finally and rest of the stuff. Okay. Right, 37. Consider the following piece of code written in Java. If the output of this program is 3AB, what would be the valid argument passed to the program? Okay. What is the valid argument passed to the program? Remember, if you send something with commas space, uh, that will be your arg0, arg1, arg2, and so on. Okay. Say you run this with class name, then you have to say x, y, z. So then x will be this one, your parameter 1, array parameter 0th element. This will be this first element and so on. Okay. Right. Now let's read the question. Right. So if the output of this program is 3AB, what would be the valid argument passed to the program? Okay. Right. So then this must be 3. This must be obviously A. This must be B. Because you print L, right? So now you have to guess what is your X, what is your Y. So remember, arg0 is the first argument. Arg1 is the second argument. If you call this, say this is a class called foo, and maybe you have sent some value here, another value here. And this value will be your arg0. This value will be your arg1. Okay. දැවිල්ලා තියෙන AB කියලා. So therefore X must be 3. X must be 3 means this is 3. This is 3 means your arg0 must be having, arg0 is the first one, 3, something like this, or just 3. Okay. So that must be having 3. So then Y is your arg1 char at 1. So that means from your second argument, you just take its second character. Remember char at 1. It's an array, arrays are 0 base. So therefore, char at 1 means the second character of the second argument. Second character of the second argument, because this is the 0, char at 0. This is char at 1. So therefore, of course, this must be 3. There's no other possibility. But this one can be any string, but its second character, or the first character, if you go by the index, must be B. ඒ කියන්නේ පළවෙනි ආගියුමන්ට් එක කොහොමද 3 වෙන්න ඕන ක්ලාස් නේම් එකට පස්සේ හැබැයි ඊළඟ එකට ඕන ස්ට්‍රින්ග් එකක් තියෙන්න ඕන හැබැයි යාගේ දෙවන ලොකේෂන් එකේ තියෙන්න ඕන ඒ කියන්නේ chart 1 කිව්වේ දෙවන ලොකේෂන් එක 1 කියන්නේ එතන තියෙන්න ඕන අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මොකද්ද B මෙන්න මෙතන B තියෙනවා right so this is 33 I will not go for 33 this is also 33 now this is 3 this is 3 this is 3 දෙවෙනියට B තියෙන ඕන එකක් ගමු අපි. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක හරි මේක හරි. So I'll go for D and E. D and E. chart එකේ මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා දැනගෙන ඉන්නවනේ. 37 I'll go for D and E. Yes, D and E. Okay. 38. Consider the following piece of code written in Java. If we pass 1, 2, 3 as arguments, what will be the output of this program? So args, remember the first, say your class name. So then they have said 1, 2, 3. This will be arg0, arg1, arg2. They are referring to arg1. So arg1 will be 2. Then 2. But this is a string. Remember, we are expecting a string. So therefore, even though you just say 2, it's a 2 string. String 2. Then this will be the string 3. So therefore, it will be concatenation. Output will be 2, 3. Because remember, this is a string. Number ya kunate ata string කියලා හිතාගෙන concatenate කරන්න plus එක දැක්කම. Therefore, it is 2, 3. So 38 answer is D. And D. Okay. 39. දැන් පේනවා මේ paper එකේ swing නෑ, Java FX නෑ, JDBC නෑ. හරි. database එක question එකක් තියෙනවා. Just one question. Just one question from thread programming. Thread programming අපි තාම කරේ නෑනේ. මම හිතන්නේ batch 1 ට කරා මම batch 1 2 වලට අනිත් අයට කරේ නැති හන්ද මම මේක recording එක දෙන්නම්. හරි. පොඩ්ඩක් අපි thread programming වල recording එක දෙන්නම් මේ සතිය ඇතුළත. So therefore we will not do this question right now because still we haven't done thread programming for some badges. Okay. ඒක recording one දෙන්නම් බොහෝ විට හෙට. හරි. Right. So 40, remember we did the database connectivity JDBC for all the badges. 5 6 අයට මම ඊයේද කොහෙද කරේ. Right. පෙරේදනේ. Which of the following API is used to establish connection to database in Java? Super easy. JDBC. අපි පෙරේද class එකේ JDBC කරා නේද? Answer is C. Okay. තව එකක් තියෙනවා හැබැයි ඒ තමයි මොකද්ද? Java persistence API. Okay. Java persistence API. Other one is JDBC. Okay. Then we can API එකක් කියලා. API को ගොඩක් අර ගන්න JPA එක. හැබැයි JDBC is more library, but loosely will take both. Loosely අපිට ඔය API කියන්නේ libraries වලට දෙකටම කියලා පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. Therefore I'll go for A and C. 40 exam එකෙන් C විතරයි. Okay. So it's very strange why JPA is not taken. Because JPA is another way to connect to database. Another way to connect to database. So it's very strange that the examiner has not taken it. Okay. Examiner has taken only JDBC. I don't. Of course, in your syllabus, you have only JDBC. But for example, in semester 4, you have enterprise application development subject. There you learn how to connect to database using JPA and do some manipulation. Anyway, it's a very debatable answer as the final answer. I'll go for A and C, but examiner has taken only C. Okay. Now, JPA is not a repository. JPA means Java Persistence API. It's another way of connecting to database. Okay. Advanced way of connecting. So you can just search what is JPA in Java. I'm referring to Java Persistence API. So JPA stands for Java Persistence API, and it is Java specification for managing, persisting, and retrieving data from Java objects and relational databases. Sorry. So JPA provides high-level object-oriented mapping framework that allows developers to interact with the database. So I don't know why JPA is not taken as answer. Okay, database or connected the JPA. Anyway, okay, right. So that's it about 2022 paper. Right. We just skip the thread programming question because we haven't done the thread programming part. But anyway, I'll be sharing the recording of that session from a previous batch to you guys. Okay. Right. So we stop at this point. Right. Now we have done 2022 paper fully. Right. Fully. This is also done. Right. So if you have any other questions to be clarified personally, right, or maybe some detailed explanations. So if you come for the Thursday session, you can, that is a physical session anyway, Somerset's campus. I will be available morning and also afternoon for any clarification, because we have to give you that opportunity whether few students comes or none comes. We have to give that opportunity for you guys. Okay. And of course, we'll continue with the online sessions because we need to do some more past papers. So your next class will be next Saturday, and then we have this Saturday morning and evening afternoon classes, and then Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening class as well. So ගොඩක් අය ඊළඟ සතියේ වෙනකොට අපි syllabus past papers කරන එකත් ඉවරයි වගේ. ඒකන්ද ඔයගලන්ට ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් ඒ session වලත් අපිට කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් freely. මොකද past papers කරනට වැඩිය වැදගත් ඔයගලන්ට තියෙන questions මොනවා හරි doubts ඉනේවා clarify කරලා දෙන්න. Okay. Right. So your next online session will be next Saturday. Okay. Right. We'll stop at this point.
Oh.